Ready to go? Okay. Good afternoon, and welcome to the University of Toledo's 2021 Fall Commencement. Our processional will be led by the Grand Marshal, the University President, members of the University Board of Trustees, and University administrators. We will begin our ceremony with the presentation of the flag of the United States. This will be led by the University of Toledo's Army ROTC Color Guard and Pershing Rifles Troop. The presentation of the flag will be followed by the processional. I would ask that you please rise.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today to celebrate the class of 2021. We are thankful to have so many excited graduates, proud parents, family members, and friends, and dedicated faculty and staff who have joined us here today, and some who are tuning in virtually to make this a celebration to remember for our graduates. Thank you all for joining us. Today marks a major milestone, one that our graduates, their families, and our faculty have long awaited. It is a day to celebrate a personal achievement, the rewards of much studying, and the many opportunities that a college degree brings. Today also begins a new chapter for our graduates as they move forward, joining the workforce or pursuing research or advanced studies in academia. On behalf of the University of Toledo, I want to thank our graduates for choosing the University of Toledo to help them prepare for their success. We are honored to share this celebration with you and your loved ones today. We are very proud of your successes to date, and we look forward to your future accomplishments. At this time, I'd ask everyone to remain standing and join me to open our ceremonies by singing the national anthem. It will be led by Kaylin Wilson, who is a native of Toledo and a 2018 graduate of the Toledo School for the Arts. She is currently a senior, majoring in vocal performance. Members of the University of Toledo's Army ROTC Color Guard and Pershing Rifles Troop also will present the colors.
Can you see by the dawn's early light, when so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose bright stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched, with so gallantly streaming, and the roaring is red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. Congratulations, class of 2021. You have demonstrated such focus, resilience, strength to overcome the challenges presented by the COVID-19 virus during the past years. Today, we celebrate you and your successful academic journey. Achieving this milestone is not easy, even under normal circumstances. You have all persevered through unprecedented challenges, and I'm confident you are now prepared to face anything. Your accomplishments, both individually and collectively, inspire hope in all of us. I want to thank the university's dedicated faculty, advisors, staff, and mentors, whose work has supported the achievements we celebrate today. It is our graduates who grow and thrive, but it is our faculty and staff who provide the tools for their growth. Their unwavering dedication to our students, their wisdom, their real-world experiences, their ongoing pursuit of innovative research and creative endeavors are all hallmarks of our faculty that are critical components in ensuring University of Toledo students reach their full potential. For that reason, I'd like to ask the faculty and staff members who are with us today to please stand and be recognized. Our thanks to all of you. I would also like to ask anyone in the audience today, family members, friends, and others, guests of the University of Toledo alumni, please stand and be recognized at this time. We are so pleased you have returned home to your alma mater to join the celebration today. Thank you. With the addition of today's graduates, your numbers will continue to grow worldwide. Thank you for being supportive members of Rocket Nation. It is now my privilege to recognize several distinguished individuals who have joined us today to celebrate this occasion. And I would like to begin with those members of our boards of trustees. So I will ask each to stand to be recognized. First, Mr. Steve Chucci. And Mr. Rapesh Bodapati. I would also like to recognize the provost, vice presidents, and deans, and any other key university leaders. In the interest of time, I will ask them all to stand together and be recognized. Today we are fortunate to have the opportunity to hear from an inspiring University of Toledo alumnus who is an entrepreneurial problem solver. Tony Bova is co-founder and chief executive officer of Mobius, a startup focused on creating renewable chemicals, materials, and energy from organic waste. Tony was in your shoes not long ago when he earned his bachelor's degree in chemistry from the University of Toledo in 2013, after he had gone back to school at the age of 25. On our campus, he became enamored with the concept of green chemistry. He helped start the University of Toledo Student Green Fund, serving as its first president. The student group has gone on to raise hundreds of thousands of dollars for students to improve sustainability on our campuses. The solar array installed on the Health Sciences campus in 2020 is a wonderful example, and this is a result of the hard work of this group. Tony, who recently earned his doctorate in energy science and engineering at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, has turned that passion for sustainability into a career. He launched his company with fellow University of Toledo alumnus Jeff Beagle, the Chief Science Officer at Mobius. Together, they are working to reduce carbon dioxide emissions by converting organic wastes produced by industrial companies into renewable chemicals and materials, such as compostable plastics, that are then sold to manufacturers as raw materials. I hope that his story will inspire you to think about how you can apply your passions to solve problems and change lives. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Tony Bova.
Thank you so much for the introduction, Dr. Postal. Thank you to Dr. Bjorkman for the invitation to speak here today. Thank you to all the faculty, staff, family, and friends that are here to celebrate. And thank you and congratulations to the University of Toledo class of 2021. I'm absolutely delighted to be back in Toledo on one of the most beautiful college campuses in the country. As a former student here, I can say that not only is there the lovely Gothic architecture, the beautiful landscaping, gardens, trees, and sculptures, but also my favorite things, the charming 8-foot piles of snow in the parking lots every winter that are a hallmark of our Northern Ohio weather. It's hard to believe that 8 years have passed since I walked across this very stage and got my degree from UT. I'm happy to be here today with just a healthy amount of imposter syndrome and stand in front of hundreds of you who are all in some way, shape, or form smarter than me, more talented than me, and even have better beards than I did 8 years ago. So today, my job here is to share some words with you. You might find them funny, and that would be cool with me. You might find them motivational, and that would be super freaking awesome. Or, if you were like me and some of my friends when we graduated, and we're sitting right out there, you might not remember a single thing, because you're all laughing and chatting with each other. You're remembering you forgot to have your coffee this morning. You're trying to explain to your mom via text that, yes, indeed, there is a missile outside the glass bowl aimed at the 50-yard line of Bowling Green, and no, it's not armed. All of this while she yells at your dad to get the camera out and to stop worrying about what you're going to eat for dinner 8 hours from now. I want to share some of my story, 4 specific moments in my life that range from 30 years ago to today. On the surface, all of these stories initially appeared to me as setbacks. They were events that happened where, as hard as I tried, no planning could really prepare me for. I'm sharing these as stories and not do this and do that type of advice, because in my experience, you can't apply someone else's advice about their life to your life. It's hard to be truly empathetic doing that. But what you can do is learn their story, because your experiences and intellect, you can draw your own conclusions on what nuggets of information and inspiration might be valuable to you. I hope all of this comes across as coherent, because like most of my assignments in life, I wrote it at 4 a.m. with caffeine while The Office was playing on the TV in the background. What I learned in these stories are 2 things that I hope that you can interpret in a way that's meaningful to you. The first is that I should embrace uncertainty as a thrill and a journey and not see it as horror and suspense. The second is that I never really navigated uncertainty alone, but I had directional help, ironically, indirectly, from all of the people that I have ever interacted with up to that point in my life. In elementary school, I was placed in a gifted program after taking some standardized tests in the 2nd grade. At home, I loved taking my toys and sometimes my dad's tools apart to see how they worked and then tried to put them back together again. Occasionally, I would have some of the "what are these extra screws for" moments, but life went on. In 3rd grade, my teacher, Mrs. Block, recognized this and gave me a book called The Phantom Toll Booth that was full of literary and mathematical puns for kids, taught lessons about life and how people perceive things differently based on their own circumstances. Everything in this book, in my classes, with my video games, and my pre-adolescent reverse engineering of toys and tools was so fascinating, and it kept me engaged. When I got to high school, the gifted program ended. Everything was much more standardized, and while I continued to score well on tests, I failed miserably in doing my homework. My grades suffered. I had no idea what my future would be based on what I was learning in school, and much of what I was learning was incredibly uninteresting at the time, and I retained very little. While I had some stellar experiences in my junior and senior years taking chemistry, printmaking, ceramics, and an intro to business class, my cumulative GPA when I graduated was about 2.6 in 2002. Because of my poor GPA and my parents' finances, I could not go directly to college after high school as I planned. This was setback number 1. Ultimately, I moved out of my parents' house. I lived on friends' couches in Louisiana and Ohio, eventually ending up here in Toledo. I started a career in the retail industry, ultimately leading to a job that paid well. I worked my way up over 5 years. I took an assistant manager position at a brand new store right nearby in Rossford. Bought a new car in 2006. I bought my first home in 2008. My store manager, a happy, nerdy guy named Rick Salzman, came and taught me so much about business, leadership, finance, and more. Things were looking up. And then the 2009 recession came. My store was closed and liquidated, and I was laid off. I couldn't find the same income elsewhere. My home was foreclosed on, and I had to sell it at a loss. This was life setback number 2. After a lot of thinking when talking with my friends and family, I decided that there was no better time than to quit it all and go back to school full time. Since I was 25, I no longer needed my parents on student loan applications, I enrolled at the University of Toledo, and after a semester, I chose chemistry as my major. I learned all about green chemistry and sustainability. I joined student groups like the American Chemical Society and Alpha Chi Sigma, a professional chemistry fraternity. I even took leadership positions in those groups. In ACS specifically, I was introduced to another chemistry student who was spearheading a small project for the group. She introduced herself with a, "Hi, I'm Mallory Ladd," and very enthusiastically handed me one of the business cards she just had made for networking. I was a little taken aback. Today, I'm happier than ever to say that her business cards say Dr. Mallory Ladd, PhD, and that I have the utmost pleasure of being her husband. In addition to my life partner, I also met my current business partner, Jeff Beagle, in a scholarship group on campus focused on renewable energy and entrepreneurship. In 2013, I graduated from UT, and I found an awesome PhD program at the University of Tennessee that had a focus on energy and entrepreneurship. I joined a research group, and after 2 semesters, while I loved my classes, I hated the work. The research was not exciting or interesting for me. I couldn't see how this could be my career. I felt like I had made a huge mistake. This was life setback number 3. Towards the end of my second semester, a guest speaker in one of my entrepreneurship classes talked about sustainable materials. This was applied chemistry, something that I could touch and feel and wasn't all at the microscale looking at charts and graphs. It was a blend of science and engineering that really stood out to me. I didn't learn much about here. And he was interested in having students explore the business potential of his technologies. I approached him with my interest, and as it turns out, he was also looking for a graduate student to work on these developing technologies further. I jumped on the opportunity, and we were off to the races. Eventually, I took an MBA course in which I learned how to speak the language of business and science together. The instructor, Lynn Youngs, was a seasoned CFO and COO of both startup companies and larger corporates throughout his career. He also was the executive director of the Entrepreneurship Center on campus. At the end of his course, I presented a full business plan for a startup company that was focused on taking organic waste and turning it into valuable renewable chemicals and materials. He told me, "This has legs. I really want you to consider actually starting a company someday." I decided that he was right, and with zero impulse control, I logged onto the Tennessee Secretary of State website a week later at Christmas in 2015, and with a swipe of my credit card, I started what Mobius PVC became today. I called Jeff and told him about it. We agreed to be partners, and eventually we politely informed that this entire journey was entirely his fault, and we started a company, and he would have to be our advisor. He gratefully accepted in exchange for beers, because students, we weren't allowed to pay him. Fast forward to 2020, Mobius had now become a company with 6 employees, multiple interns, and we had raised over $2 million. In life, I don't see any of those previous things as failures. Again, as I mentioned, I felt that they were initially setbacks. But in reality, each was an opportunity to see that the door that I may have chosen was not the best, and that, and this is really important, it was totally okay to choose another one. My path was my own, in the same way that your path can and should be your own too. Success isn't a ladder that goes up in one direction with people to climb over. It's a pyramid whose base and structure is built by all of the experiences and interactions that you have had in your life. You can choose any path that you want to get to the top. Here, as Rockets, you've dedicated hundreds of hours to your studies and years of your life to building up your relationships that you have here. And whether you realize it or not, you have learned how to learn, how to respond to adversity, and how to shape your own future. So don't stop now. This is only the beginning. As you move forward into the next stage of your life, keep seeking out new peers and mentors that you can learn from. You can use the new skills that you've developed to become a professional learner. When you see some opportunity and you aren't sure what future it holds, go find out. Embrace the uncertainty. Even if that opportunity doesn't grow the legs that you want it to, keep walking forward, and you can reach back, harvest all of that knowledge, and apply it to all of your future endeavors in ways that will continue to surprise you. The serendipity of life is magical. My random walk put me here in Toledo. It put me back in school where I found that spark. It put me in student orgs where I learned about leadership. It put me on teams where I met my wife. It put me on projects where I met my business partner. It put me in a grad school program that embraced entrepreneurship and science together, and it gave me the support to actually start a company. When people say, "Don't worry, it will all work out in the end," they have it half right in the opinion. Yes, don't worry, and actually, stay excited, because that random walk that I talked about, the it that I referenced, that will be you. You will embrace all of the unknowns. You will use your knowledge, experience, and relationships. You'll remember a specific lesson that you had in the field house one day, or a conversation you had over beer or coffee at 1 a.m. in a deep discussion with your friends. You'll draw on all of this experience and draw all of those new paths to climb your pyramid. Before I go, I want to reflect on the last 2 years with all of you together. This has been something that nobody saw coming and unfolding like it has. The pandemic has changed our lives, the way we interact, the way we learn, and the way we all experience and express our emotions. This was setback number 4 that I mentioned, and we have all shared it together in different ways. You may have had boundless joy. I did. I earned a PhD this year in May. You may have had untold grief. I did also. Last week marked the 1-year anniversary of my mom passing from COVID-19. Navigating these emotions in COVID times has been even more challenging now, and more than ever, your support structure is there for you and will continue to be your foundation for your future in the most holistic sense possible. I want to end this with a quote from that book that I mentioned earlier, The Phantom Tollbooth. A conversation with the main character Milo having with one of his new friends towards the end of his journey. "But I never could have done it," he objected, "without everyone else's help." "That may be true," said Reason gravely, "but you had the courage to try. And what you can do is often simply a matter of what you will do." So class of 2021, be proud of the work you've done here. Like me, you may leave this place and in short order start the next phase of your life as a graduate. You've now got the tools to design and sculpt a future of your choosing. You have relationships that will follow you into the future for a lifetime. And one of my favorite parts, you will always have alumni wherever you go. You're going to be somewhere in Tennessee or Texas, Guam or Germany. You'll be walking in a park or sitting at a bar. Inevitably, you'll see somebody with a Toledo Rockets shirt or hat on, or they're going to see you and yours. You'll look at one another, smile, and you'll know exactly what to say. TOL. Thank you and congratulations.
Our thanks to Dr. Bova for his inspirational speech and for sharing his insights with all of us. We are very fortunate to have him with us today in honor of our graduates. Please give Dr. Bova another round of applause to thank him. I now call upon Dean Heidi Apple of the Jessup Scott Honors College.
25 of our undergraduate candidates have completed the requirements of their baccalaureate study through our University Jessup Scott Honors College. They're wearing medallions attached to gold ribbons to commemorate high achievement in the rigorous honors curriculum at the University of Toledo. Degree candidates who have earned an honors medallion from the Jessup Scott Honors College, please rise to be recognized for your outstanding accomplishments. Please be seated. A number of our graduating candidates today are also wearing blue and gold twisted honors cords. These candidates are graduating baccalaureates with highest distinction, or summa cum laude. To qualify, the candidates had to earn a cumulative grade point of 3.9 or higher for all college work. Will these candidates please stand? Please be seated. Candidates wearing blue cords are graduating baccalaureates with great distinction, or magna cum laude. To qualify, these students had to earn a cumulative grade point average of at least 3.6 for all college work. Will these candidates please stand? Please be seated. Candidates wearing gold cords are graduating baccalaureates with distinction, or cum laude. These students had to earn a cumulative grade point average of at least 3.3 for all college work. Will these candidates please stand? Please be seated. Candidates wearing white cords are graduating associates with high scholarship. To qualify, these students had to earn a cumulative grade point average of at least 3.3 for all college work at the associate level. Will these candidates please stand? Please join me now in applause to acknowledge the scholastic achievements of all of these students. At this time, we would also like to recognize the candidates who have completed the Army ROTC program and have been commissioned as officers and are graduating today. They are wearing black and gold cords. Would the new officers who are with us today please stand? On behalf of the University of Toledo community and the Student Veterans of America, University of Toledo chapter, it is my privilege and honor to recognize those graduates adorned with a red, white, and blue military honors cord. These courageous men and women have served or are currently serving in the United States Armed Forces. We thank you for your distinguished service and your sacrifice for our country. Please stand and be recognized. Please be seated.
There are 1,360 candidates for baccalaureate degrees and 41 candidates for associate's degrees. I now call upon Dean Michael Toole, who will present the candidates from the College of Engineering.
Will all candidates for baccalaureate degrees from the College of Engineering please rise? President Postal, as Dean of the College of Engineering, I am pleased to present the candidates for these degrees. Please join me in recognizing these candidates. Please be seated. I now call upon Dean Mark Merrick to present the candidates from the College of Health and Human Services.
Will all the candidates for baccalaureate and associate degrees from the College of Health and Human Services please rise? President Postal, as Dean of the College of Health and Human Services, I am pleased to present the candidates for these degrees. Please join me in recognizing these candidates. Please be seated. I now call upon Dean Marcus Seeger to present the candidates from the College of Natural Science and Mathematics.
Will all candidates for the baccalaureate degrees from the College of Natural Sciences and Mathematics please rise? President Postal, as Dean of the College of Natural Sciences and Mathematics, I am pleased to present the candidates for these degrees. Please join me in recognizing these candidates. Please be seated. I now call upon Dean Linda Lewandowski, who will present the candidates from the College of Nursing.
Will all candidates for baccalaureate degrees from the College of Nursing please rise? President Postal, as Dean of the College of Nursing, I'm pleased to present the candidates for these degrees. Please join me in recognizing these candidates. Please be seated.
Will all of our degree candidates please rise? President Postal, I now present to you students who have completed all the requirements for a baccalaureate and associate degrees.
Now, upon the recommendation of the faculty and by the authority vested in me by the state of Ohio and by the trustees of the University of Toledo, I do confer upon all of these qualified candidates, including those in absentia, the degrees for which they have met the requirements. You are charged with the duties and responsibilities of those degrees and granted the privileges and prerogatives appertaining thereto. At this time, all baccalaureate and associate graduates may move their tassels from the front right side of their mortar boards to the back right side of their mortar boards. The faculty and the Board of Trustees join me in extending congratulations to you and in noting the indivisible link between you and the University of Toledo. We are linked forever. Our good fortune is your good fortune. Your success fuels our tomorrow. Please join me in recognizing these graduates. Please be seated. It is next my pleasure to introduce Mr. Stephen Ciucci, who is Vice Chair of the University of Toledo Board of Trustees, to provide some remarks.
On behalf of the University of Toledo Board of Trustees, I would like to congratulate all of the graduates today for successfully earning your college degree. I sincerely hope that you are as proud of your time at the University of Toledo and your accomplishments as we are. Your journey to today's celebration required much hard work and determination. We know hours of your time and energy have been spent reading, studying for exams, writing papers, and participating in group projects, and for many of you, also taking advantage of wonderful internship and research opportunities. The class of 2021 also had the added challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic to navigate throughout your academic journey. Our sincere congratulations to each of you. During your years here at UToledo, we also hope you had a bit of fun, being active in one of our more than 300 student organizations, cheering on the Rockets, and making lifelong friendships and connections with mentors. As graduates of the University of Toledo, you are the leaders of tomorrow. Now, perhaps more than ever, we need your innovative approaches to solving problems, your determination to make a positive impact on your community, and your collaborative spirit. As you move forward, ready to tackle your next adventure, please know that all of us, members of the Board of Trustees, the administration, faculty, staff, alumni, fellow students, and your neighbors in the Toledo community, we are all cheering for you and wishing you the very best. Congratulations to the newest alumni of the University of Toledo.
Now comes the fun part. At this time, we invite the marshals to escort the graduates to receive congratulatory recognition. Graduates will be allowed to remove their masks when having their photo taken in front of the U Toledo banner, but we do ask that you put them back on before processing to the stage. Graduates on my left in the College of Nursing will come forward to the lower stage on my left.
College of Nursing. Alyssa Suzanne Kolb. Ashley Kate Marin. Caitlin Casey Lighty. Abigail Lynn Brown. Abby Catherine Brand. Delaney Noel Borrell. Taylor Michelle Case. Zoe Grace Skeldon.
Mackenzie Sharp.
Rihanna Hutchison. Autumn Taylor Fritz. Diana Estrell. Shannon Elizabeth Cox. Michelle Elizabeth Hostetler. Samantha Rose Eckelberry. Hannah Danielle Garno. Selena Agustina Santayana. Allison Elizabeth David. Alec Graber. Alexis Ann McGuire. Caitlin Joyce Enderby. Olivia Marie Radebaugh. Alexa Milana Restivo. Rachel M. Super. Mariah Sharon Spiewijk. Samantha Marie Fry. Justin McIntyre. Jenna McCoy. Nicole Francis Lowry. Maggie Elizabeth Ditchman. Alyssa Rebecca Nicole Emmerich. Jared William Rosenberger. Matthew Von Petit. Caleb Jeremiah Lewis. Justin Brown. Caitlin Marie Shinkevich. Coleman Alexander Rogers. Jenna Olivia Turnwald. Anna Danielle Sellers. Skylar M. Quintero. Morgan Brooke Mazahowski. Mackenzie Marie Fulecki. Shanna Jo Blakely. Ellie Marie Rodriguez. Madison Kate Bassett. Phoebe Abigail Collar. Madison Hohenberger. Kara McNeely. Brooke J. Eschleman. Natasha Crosby. Jennifer Marie Villegas. Martha Dixon. Jessica Lynn Newlove. Casey Elizabeth Reed. Asil Kamari. Shannon M. Torres. Tristan Smith. Noah Michael Kosnick. Christopher Patrick Shanabarger. Joanne Catherine Mercer. Abigail Grace Roos. Molly Lynn Barrow. Grace Morgan Crisenberry. Tessa Lynn Vogel. Lindsay Jean Roynan. Hannah Maria Morad. Samantha Lebker. Alexis Ray Kearns. Olivia S. Crowell. Lindsay Marie Clemens. Dayton Teresa White. Jordan Levicki. Lily Catherine Bay. Connor Allen Clark. Kelly Marie Smith. Kennedy Rose Bingham. Cecilia Renee Simpson. Jenna N. Strosak. Brennan Scott Roop. Risa Vianney Rios. Raquel Ileana Lopez. Amber Denise Phillips. Sunsere Renee Johnson. Naya Janae Champion. Sierra Elise Clark. Chimdindu Mary Rose Wosu. Simone Black. College of Engineering. Austin Stephen Polachek. Allison L. Hyder. Alexander Walter Garby. Reggie Jarrett Reed. Xavier Johnson. Abulade Heritage Adeagbo. Braxton Kobe Aaron Spears. Alexander Clayton Messer. Tariq Mohammed Al-Rashdi. Gabriel Patrick Metzger. Ryan Austin Edmonds. Nicholas James Cook. Nathan Lee Gittinger. Tyler S. Golden. Aaliyah Bay. Emily Howard. Alexander Joseph Ritten. Jacob Bradley Steenrod. Derek Kesso Reed. Caleb James Myers. Nicholas Anthony Singler. Christopher James Simpson. Gabriel Jose Gutierrez. Reese Calvin Kendall. Mark Dykoner. Ryan Danielak. Alec Jerome Bukowski. Noah Michael Vickery. Justin Michael Thiel. Abdullah Sadoun Al-Rashidi. Mahdi Hussein A. Al-Musalim. Sultan Al-Rashdi. Ben Cutter. Jacob Eugene Schimoller. Hannah Jo Lehman. Amanda K. Siebenek. Tyler D. Griffith. Seth James Hancock. Samuel D. Butler. Stephen Luke Lengel. Trevor Robert Ramsey. William Schultz. Brammer Christian Brakel. Cole Eugene Betties. Nicholas Andrew Pullman. Justin Thomas Hart. Harrison Gregory Kenya. Quinn Patrick Kleinfelter. Nicholas Michael Nasser. Tariq Musalam. Mohammed Ahmad. Gavin Roby. Tyler Evan Denoweth. Riley Nicole Levingood. Dominic Lyle Nudie. Kalina LaQuinda Quartermain. Rebecca Catherine Kirschner. Andrew John Campbell. Harjot Singh. Jonah Carl Shover. Colin Moeller. Austin Henry Watkins. Elizabeth Grace Patton. Madeline Irene Hank. Garrett Carl Brenke. Josiah R. May. Lucas Matthew Allen Walborn. Andrew Scott McMaster. Rachel Breitner. Kaylee Sarah Vlack. Kayla E. McLean. Caitlin Marie Krumnauer. Caitlin M. Leffler. Leah Michelle Brayman. Kayla Elizabeth Chapman. Dylan Hall. Noah Heritage. Clay Austin Deppen. Caleb Thomas Luthman. Jacob Grannon. Brandon Kai Koal. Bernard A. Owusu Sefa. Aaron Stephen Reinhardt. Bradley W. Austin. Sumaita Kareem. Justin Dean Phillips. Amanda N. Jabri. Jessica Taylor Billick. Sean Philip Mullenkamp. Neil Mullenkamp. Joseph Charles Wenning. Jared Scott Hulsman. Matthew D. Collig. Aaron Michael Mangan. Andrew Slade. Ryan Francis Bagatis. Dean Richard Highcamp, Cole Jacob Schlater, Alec Michael Holthouse, Troy John Sanning, Carson Michael Valagoski, Andrew Bao Kang Lei, Joseph Charles Jones, Jesus Porras, Brendan K. Fawcett, Aaron Robert Post, Adam P. Neighbors, Yella Shep, Michael J. North, Nathaniel Bender, Jacob Lammers, Tallman Clayton, Ben Wolak, James Kundmiller, Jeffrey Franklin Kanivi, Samuel Hartford, Michael Roach, Jesse Robert Kiefer, Austin Jeffrey Burkle, Hunter Nagel, Corey D. Wall, Dawson M. Zarnick, Garrett Smith, Bryce Neal Offenberger, Jacob Hunter Beckhusen, Alexander Reed Thomas, Susan Kathleen Gallagher, Charles Colson Wade, Taryn Erickson, John Michael Jelinek, Eric Zachary Reap, Christopher G. Pucko, Harrison C. Fisher, Matthew Nicholas McCracken, Nicholas David Putterbaugh, David J. Dutko, Lucas Nash, Eric Michael Alexander, Jason William Kahn, Trenton Hoke Majoy, William J. Danklison, Isaac James Holmer, Christopher Mills, Levi Halka, Olivia Merrill Boysall, Michael J. Burkett, Alyssa Radabaugh, Kayanne Berger, Keaton Matthew Gargick, Joseph Robert Hamilton, Jordan Nicole Maitoner, Kevin Anthony Fruth. Brianne Marie Crockett. Ryan Enrique Jones. Nicholas Crockett. Shane Call. Kristen Renee Stahl. Robert Jones. Mason Palpent. Frank Bartholomew Parker. Dennis John Olanichek Jr. David William Marley. Aaron Josiah Snyder. William Tresso. Nathaniel William Fry. Evan Amos Pullman. Majed Abdurrahman Al-Hazmi. Zafar Marzouk Al-Dasari. Colin Gillis. Mohammed Abdel. Devin Jacob Hopkins. Ethan Craig Dunham. Sean Edgar Norden. Trent Crouch. Gage M. Carls. Zane Mitchell Traxler. Stephen Michael Charnello. Benjamin Neil Gannon. Garrett Jeffrey Whitlock. Claire Elizabeth Fuller. Sarah Marie Kelly. Matthew Samansky. Justin Bernard Goda. Quinn Matthias Wise. Seth Turner. David Richard Yotzis. Dominic Tishone. Lance M. Nitskorsky. Nathan Murovich. Idowu Adewale Oke. Abdulaziz Khalid Altisan. Abdullah Al-Fehani. Emily Lynn Ryer. Lizette Maingon. Viraj Patel. Zach Kirschman. Tanner James Drees. Ryan James Robert Lewis Hall. James Jagodzinski. Dylan Scott Pryor. Jake Harrison Zeiler. Ariel Ahmed. Jade Catherine Myers. Angie Huang. Isaac Arnold Donald Johnson. Corinne Scott Umball. Joshua Andrew Putoff. Joshua Stroop. Alexander King. Camille Joseph Cz. Samuel Kwabena Atwima. Michael Ballard. Joshua Boulian. Zachary Stephen Johnson. Thomas John Kokar. Richard Lorenz Moore. Abdurrahman Ali A. Sadiq. Ahmad Mustafa El Baba. Tylen D. McCauley. Thomas Bennett Reed. Brandon Kalbflesh. Parker Avery Veit.
Megan Allen.
Trevor James Lett. Dylan M. Swicegood. Zachary David Vagatus. Connor Trost. Vladimir Sokol. Ghazal Rahman.
Tristan Michael Ritchie.
Nathaniel Michael Shaheen. Timothy Paul Almiller. Sierra Elizabeth Dewar. Nathaniel Thomas Burns. Tasia Hamill. Shui Xuan Shu. Orlalekan Madandola. Hamad Ali Al-Hamadi. Richard Anthony Corone. L. Ray Burns. Jared Charles Rabb. Connor Wilson Fortune. Amanda Osmero. Dion Sanders. Michael H. Gordon. College of Health and Human Services. Jordan T. Gillespie. Marisa Anastasia Rivera. Mallory Hutton. Jasmine Ann White. Alana Grace Schaefer. Sarah Elizabeth Berg. Allison Marie Turner. Haley Wolf. Samantha Alana Montree. Ashley Nicole Anderson. Nicole Renee Layson. Stephanie Louise Roberts. Cambria Chalise Brantley. Alyssa J. Bigelow. Alana Marie Buck. Jessica S. Altman. Olivia Jane Bradstock. Alexis Shelby Laidlaw. Megan Jean Rudy. Asia Leah Goodwin. Ivy J. Greer. Tatiana Nicole Chanel Hughes. Raven Tamia Oliphant. Tanae Nichelle Oden. Caitlin Koo. Maya Lene Stevens. Karmik M. Hall. Haley Hunter Griffin. Megan Stanton. John Thomas Treadway. Bailey Elaine Jameson. Danielle Marie Poppelman. Arian Alexis Hinkle. Nisha Annie Luke. Jared Tyler Baldwin. Riley Elizabeth Sanders. Austin Allen Bennett. Brooklyn A. Fairchild. Nelvi Alexandra Piantino. Madison Nicole Hoffman. Zainab Hussein Al-Musalim. Emily N. Wiegert. Tracy Compston. Logan Desjarnet. Elijah Anderson.
Noah Hamlin.
Michaela Renee Daniel. Caitlin Nicole Venable.
Michael Grochowski.
Maria Machado. Jacelyn Puelani Kwan. Diala Muhammad Al Sayouf. Alexander James Acker. Cameron Betts. Suleiman Ibn Abdul Hakim Williams. Cecilia L. Cordray. Zachary Chartier. Melinda Marie Cappuccini. Lashana Lewis. Kayla M. McManus. Derek Blue. Elijah Elder Miller. Shiloh Nicole Reynolds. Braylon May Harness. Allison N. Wintrow. Sydney Arrington. Amara E. Bryson. Fatima Abdullah Thuwamer. Esther Yvonne Bowman. College of Natural Sciences and Mathematics. Jacob Papish. Matthew James Gorman. Addison Grace Leakty. Matthew Thompson. Dylan Reagan Perlini. Drew Anthony Pariseau. Frank Fulkerson. Daryl L. Rogers Jr. Taylor Shea Harrell. Elizabeth Jill Steiger. Michael Dwayne Griffin Jr. Kiera Kania Davis. Amar Kolapkar. Audrey Lee Bonds. Chadwick William Huss. Megana Reddy Medini. Rebecca Chatterjee. Denisa Ivan. Fatima Aftab. Bella Zainab Khatib Shahidi. Harika Vasi Reddy. Lillian Anderson. Kylie Eileen Stewart. Jacob Emerson Chintagata. Anshal Sikka. Emma Dennis. Taylor Nicole Longenbarger. Hong Nia Do. Kaylee Grace Ward. Kayla Dickerson. Maureen E. Belair. Ashley Nicole Scheitzo. Gracie Emma Siffer. Lillian Giroux. Sama Albaik. Adam James Napier.
I would now like to invite Mr. David Dimitrica, President of our University of Toledo Alumni Association, to welcome members of our graduating class to the distinguished ranks of our alumni body.
President Postal, trustees, honored and distinguished guests, faculty, staff members, family, friends, and graduates. For 100 years, the Alumni Association has been engaging our fellow alumni across the country and abroad, helping to strengthen affinity and the connection with our alma mater and each other. As we celebrate our centennial anniversary this year, I am honored to be here and represent over 165,000 alumni, including 21 college and special interest affiliates and 27 alumni chapters worldwide. On behalf of the University of Toledo Alumni Association, I would like to add our congratulations and the warmest of wishes to every graduate here today and welcome you into our very proud and global alumni family. Alumni membership offers many benefits as your relationship with U-Toledo takes on a new beginning. To help you remain engaged and connected to U-Toledo and other alums, we are providing you with a complimentary membership to the University of Toledo Alumni Association for the next 5 years. We hope you will take advantage of opportunities, connect with an alumni chapter near you, and return to campus for homecomings and other campus events. We also encourage you to connect virtually and share career updates and experiences or memories of U-Toledo online or via social media. Engaging in the Alumni Association can enrich your life with connections for many years to come. There are U-Toledo alumni located throughout the world, and your Alumni Association can help you find them. We look forward to providing you with opportunities that will strengthen your relationship with the University of Toledo and our ever-growing alumni community. Your membership in the University of Toledo Alumni Association begins now. Welcome.
Congratulations, graduates. Today you join more than 165,000 individuals worldwide who are proud alumni of the University of Toledo. They are making a difference in their communities across the United States and around the world as artists, business leaders, teachers, engineers, physicians, pharmacists, attorneys, musicians, nurses, environmentalists, astronomers, and scientists. As you start this next chapter of your life, I urge you to use what you have learned at the University of Toledo to benefit your communities. And I ask each of you to show your rocket pride wherever you go. Fly a University of Toledo flag at your home. If you are an Ohio resident, put a U-Toledo specialty license plate on your vehicle. Wear midnight blue and gold on game days, rooting for our Rockets. You will always be an important part of Rocket Nation. At this time, I would like to take a moment to recognize all of the special people in your support systems, whether they are your parents and friends, a spouse or partner, children, siblings, or grandparents. Over the past few years, they have no doubt served as your personal fan club. To all of the individuals who have supported you, I want to say thank you. Thank you for reaching out to your graduate to offer advice and cheer them on when times were difficult, for listening when they needed encouragement, for boosting their confidence when they doubted themselves, and for laughing with them to lighten their spirits. Graduates, please join me now in giving a hearty round of applause to thank these family members and friends. Additionally, I want to thank the many University of Toledo staff members who have worked so hard to plan this commencement ceremony today. Let's give a round of applause for everyone who has helped make this a special occasion. And now, finally, the moment our graduates have waited for long enough, worked so hard to achieve, and what we are all here enjoying this pageantry leading up to properly recognize the achievements of our graduates as they finish their career at the University of Toledo. I'm going to ask our audience to join me now in giving one final, really loud, over-the-top, foot-stomping ovation. Let's hear it. Congratulations, graduates. Fantastic, thank you. As we conclude today's ceremonies, we will ask all graduates and alumni to rise for the singing of our alma mater, led by Kaylin Wilson. Those in academic regalia, please remain standing for the recessional. All others are asked to take their seats after the alma mater and remain seated until the graduates have exited. Thank you.